What if I told you I have 4 wide receivers that rarely get talked about that could creep their way into the first round of the NFL draft next week? Interested? Well, check this out. What is up, everybody? Nate Liss here once again, and I'm thrilled to be back as we are officially just 1 week away from the start of the 2022 NFL Draft. But before I jump into this, if you've gained any value from the content that I've been releasing, then do me and yourself a huge favor and hit the like button, drop me a comment down below, and hit the subscribe button. Because as soon as the NFL Draft ends, I will be creating tons of new fantasy content built around all the new information that we'll finally be equipped with. With that said, let's dive in. Now, for those of you who are super tuned in, a few of these names may not come as a shock, but my swing for the fence at number 4 probably will. This is more of a fun exercise, and I would not recommend hunting down your local back alley bookie and throwing every dollar from your retirement account into my takes, but then again, you only live once, right? So at number 1, I'm going Jahan Dotson out of Penn State University. A 22-year-old wide receiver who came in at 5'11" and just over 180 pounds. And though the sharpest of Dynasty players appreciated his profile, it wasn't until he ran a 4.43 at the NFL Combine that he was truly on the mainstream map. Now, though this archetype may not always hit with the consistency in the fantasy football world, it's like the Pied Piper's sweet song to NFL organizations because they just can't resist it. And if you've never heard the story of the Pied Piper, it's psychotic. Yet the story with Dotson is one of continuous progression. Because after limited production during his freshman season, he only continued to get better through each year that followed it. However, it wasn't until his junior season when he finally broke out at 20 and a half years old, which placed him in the 50th percentile. And you can certainly rationalize away some of his late production as he was surrounded by KJ Hamler and Pat Freiermuth in a low-volume passing game for at least the first 2 seasons of his college career. But by the time his senior year hit, it was all green grass for Jahan Dotson. Because he finished with a monster college target share of 30%, which put him in the 90th percentile, as well as a 44.3 90th percentile college dominator rating. What's interesting, though, is that Dotson over the past 3 seasons hasn't played in the slot more than 23.7% in any given year. But NFL scouts are routinely banging the table for him to kick inside to the slot at the NFL level due to concerns over his ability to survive on the outside. Nevertheless, NFL mocks continue to have him comfortably in the 2nd round. But again, I'm not sure some teams will be able to avoid that sweet Piper's melody. Now at number 2, we have another name that Dynasty players have grown increasingly more aware of, and that's Skyy Moore out of Western Michigan. At 5'1" and 191 pounds, Moore woke even the wokest of tie-dyed shirt-making fantasy football fans as he turned in a shockingly fast 4.41 40-yard dash time at the NFL Combine. And it was at this very moment that NFL organizations entered the chat.
Hello. I've been waiting for you.
Because from day 1 at Western Michigan, Skyy Moore was delivering airmail after opening up his 2019 season with 734 receiving yards. Also with an ADOT of 13.5, which would have easily been inside the top 20 in this draft class. However, even despite a strong freshman season, it was what he did as a junior that really matters. Because per PFF, Skyy Moore actually finished with their highest receiving grade out of the entire 2022 eligible wide receiver class. And even more impressive than that, he finished number 4 overall in yards per route run with 3.46, had a top 15 rating of 132.2 when targeted, and finished number 1 overall in college football in missed tackles forced in 2022.
How do you like them apples?
Now, if that doesn't do something for you somewhere, then I just have no solution for you. But it still gets even better. Because over on Player Profiler, when we look at Skyy Moore's closest 2 comps, they jump right out at you. And those comps just happen to be Golden Tate and Stephon Diggs. Two players who have shown incredible route versatility and fantasy value over their NFL careers. So if the 99th percentile college target share didn't do it for you, and the 90th percentile college dominator didn't do it for you, then damn it, do it because his first name has two Y's in it. Now, my third player is one who tested out so athletic at the NFL Combine that even if you hated the conference that he played in, you couldn't look away. It was like a car crash. Yeah. Or like an Adam Sandler movie when it's on cable TV. Nobody looks away. Not this one, though. Yet Watson, different than the prior two names, has very rare elite athleticism at a unique frame at 6'4" and 208 pounds. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like any one of us had Christian Watson potentially going round 1 prior to the Combine. Hell, even the idea of him going round 2 was an immense stretch. But here we are, and Christian Watson has made a name for himself through the NFL offseason process. After a strong finish to his 2021 season where he caught 39 balls for 740 yards and 7 touchdowns, he took it one step further. As a relative unknown, Christian Watson showed up to the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama, and proceeded to crush every drill and every defender they put in front of him. It was the combination of shining at the Senior Bowl and eviscerating the NFL Combine that made the NFL scouts go,
Wow, look at this. Do you know what this means?
But here we are just days away from the actual NFL draft, and I've seen Watson's name climb from a day 3 option to a day 2 option to an early day 2 option, and I think his next stop could be a late day 1 option. Now, as much as I love Christian Watson's story and his athletic profile, there's no doubt that his inability to convert catches, even versus below average competition, is a red flag in a multitude of ways. And this is even before we begin to mention his career drop rate of over 13%. So to the scout in the NFL draft room who sticks his neck all the way out like a Brontosaurus on draft night for Christian Watson, good luck. Now, lastly, I bring you my fourth and final option. Really, I created this entire video just to mention this player because I believe he has risen to at minimum a day 2 option, but I've heard filthy, dirty inside secrets that he might actually have day 1 potential, and honestly, I would just die if it was actually true. And that player is Jalen Tolbert out of South Alabama. Standing at 6'1" and weighing in at 194 pounds, Tolbert turned in the most Adam Thielen level workout metrics you've ever seen in your life. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad thing because his 70th percentile 40-yard dash time of 4.49 was assuredly fast enough, but all around his athletic profile is just fine. However, over on PFF, we see a different story being told. Despite coming from a small school with a Thielen-like athletic profile, he's still graded out with the 12th best receiving score in 2021. On top of that, Tolbert finished number 3 in the country in total receiving yards with 1,474, which led to finishing number 9 overall in the country in yards per route run at 3.16, as well as a top 20 finish in yards after contact per reception, as well as a top 20 finish in missed tackles forced. Now, I know what you're going to say. Didn't he do this in the Sun-Kissed division? And I say, no, that's a soda. But he did do it in the Sun Belt division, and that's roughly the same thing. But guys, even in 2021, we saw Tolbert finish top 6 in deep catches as well as top 6 in deep receiving yards. And if I may add just one more piece to my case for the already 23-year-old Jalen Tolbert, let it be an excerpt from this PFN article. Clearly the alpha of the receiver class at the Senior Bowl, Jalen Tolbert was the most consistent receiver in Mobile. After an early drop during warmups on day 1, it was smooth sailing for Tolbert. He dominated at the catch point, showcased an elite release at the line of scrimmage, and displayed soft hands that he high-pointed with ease over any defender. Tolbert also got physical with his blocks, both during simulated drills and in-team action. He's a well-rounded receiver who showcased the level of competition doesn't matter. He just simply wins. Now, before you try to tar and feather me, just know that the Tolbert in the first round take is like 1,800 to 1. But if you're feeling froggy and want to retire early, I'd say the smart money's on that bet. So there you have it, folks. 4 players that I can see based on hype, Senior Bowl performance, and Combine performance, all potentially for better or worse, having a shot to enter the first round of the NFL draft. Tell me what you love. Tell me what you hated about the video. I am just honestly excited to finally get a chance to talk about the NFL draft, and we'll finally get to see it play out next week because I think it's loaded with surprises. So thanks again for checking out the channel. Please hit the subscribe button so you continue to get all my new content as it rolls out. And come join us on the Discord chat as well. You can find a link in the description below. And I'm out.